Hello everyone, this is a continuation of the first video I did, the first part. I got cut off because I reached the size limit, okay? So had to go ahead and do another part, okay? So I'm gonna finish the second part of this. So, like I said, if you know anything about the animated Batman cartoons, like I said, they had Batman the animated series, which came out early in the 90s. A little bit after that, they had the Adventures of Batman and Robin. Then after that, they had The Batman. Sounds familiar? Yes. See, the movie is called The Batman, but there was also an animated Batman cartoon called The Batman. Now, in this cartoon, this one was a little darker, a little edgier. Um, he fought, more futuristic versions of his enemies. Um, but this was a young Batman. In the Batman animated series, this was a young Batman, kind of like a just starting off, okay? Uh, so he wasn't as wise or as accomplished, okay? Still had some good gadgets, but wasn't quite up to what the other, Batmans were as far as gadgetry. Even though he was fighting some futuristic villains. Okay, but that's to be understood. This was a young Batman. So coming into this movie, I thought maybe they did the same thing. I thought maybe this is a young Batman. This is a Batman before Michael Keaton. Maybe like in the show, this is a young Batman just starting. Okay. Now, if that was the case, I could overlook such things as shitty tech. Okay. Let's be real. This Batman has some of the shittiest tech ever. You didn't see a single Batarang. The Batmobile was the ugliest out of all the Batmobiles in the other movies. Okay. Um, his garage or his workshop or whatever looked like shit. Okay. It's crazy how the Bat Cave in the first Batman from the 80s looked better than the so called Bat Area in this movie. And that shit came out in the 80s. How the hell you explain that? His shit looked like this Bat Cave didn't even look like a damn cave. It just looked like a broke ass, broke down, I don't know, train station or some shit. I don't know. You know, the gadgets looked crappy, and that would be easy to understand if they was going with this concept like they did in animated. That this was a new, a young Batman. If they would have went with that, that would make sense. He's a young Batman. He's just starting this shit out. He hasn't figured out how to make his shit look great or to have better technology. He's just starting out. The problem with that is that Detective Gordon makes it very clear. He says, hey, we've been doing this vigilante fighting thing together as a team for 2 years. So he's not a newbie anymore. He's not someone that's just starting out, right? He knows he's been doing this for a little while. So his tech should be better than what it fucking is. It's garbage. It should be better than what it is. Most of the movie, he's riding around on a shitty ass motorcycle doing most of the movie. You know, I mean, most of the movie he looks like some hobo. He looks like just some young kid wearing baggy, raggedy looking clothes and shit. Looking dirty, looking like he hasn't taken a bath in 10 years. Riding on shitty ass motorcycles. That's what he's riding on. There ain't shit for tech. Makes no kind of sense. Okay, so that right there, right? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Okay, it doesn't fit. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk about some things that I consider are pretty egregious mistakes and errors, and I was surprised that they let these errors actually get released with the movies. Now I don't know if they were just technical errors or maybe the director wasn't paying attention to what he was doing or maybe he was inexperienced. I don't know. But there's one scene, and this is toward the beginning. Okay, Batman is being told by Alfred we're having these heavy hitters from Wayne Enterprises coming. They, for a meeting with you, because remember he is Bruce Wayne too. So finally, Alfred and Bruce are sitting at a table. A female servant or maid comes in. She says, "Hey, the people from Wayne Enterprises is here. The people for the meeting, these head honchos or whatever." Alfred says, "Okay, tell them come on in." Now you would expect that since he said, tell them to come on in, that you would see these big wigs come in and and you would see them and you see how they react and talk or whatever. That doesn't happen. It's like there's a glitch in the movie. Because Alfred says, "Go ahead and send them on in." And then the next scene, you never see him come in. You never see him. It just just skips to the next scene. And him and Bruce are, in the back garage is what I call it. I don't even want to call it back cave. Call that shit up. Poor broke ass back garage. But, so they're both in the back garage again. Looking at computers and shit. Now, wait a minute. What happened to, I'm not saying that these people would have been big players in the movie or whatever, but I'm saying you can't do a movie scene like that. If your characters in your movie are saying, "Hey, this person has arrived for you," you show the person that has arrived. That's what you do, right? I've never seen a movie where the person says, "Hey, so Mr. Thomas, or Mr. Wayne, or whoever, just I'd say Mr. Thomas, just for hypothetical. Mr. Thomas, Mr. Johnson from work is here." And then the screen fades black and you never see Mr. Johnson. Why you introduce him? Why'd you say he was going to come and... It's like they skipped that. And I remember it and it caught me off guard. So bad that I wanted to look at the person that was sitting next to me and say, "Did y'all see that? It skipped skipped a scene, right? Like skip something." That's a big. That kind of threw me off guard. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And you see a lot of that in this movie, where it looks like they're gonna explore something or talk to someone, but it never happens. You see a lot of that in this movie. So, though that's one of the inconsistencies that I was talking about. There's also another thing that's kind of messed up too. Like I say, spoilers. So in the one scene right before the Batmobile chase, where Batman, I believe Batman Gordon and Catwoman get pinned down by the Penguin's forces. His men are just blasting away, blah blah blah. Catwoman is behind the vehicle, pinned down. Batman has been knocked down unconscious, which happens a lot in this damn movie. He's always getting knocked on his ass. But anyway, when he's not walking through crowds of armed people like a tank, it's like they can't make up their mind. Do you want to make him indestructible like Iron Man and Superman because you have him walking right up to dudes that are blasting at him? Or do you want to make him a bitch? Because he seems that when he's not, being like indestructible Batman, he's being bitch Batman, knocked on his ass. So make up your mind which one you want. I'm just trying to get some advice. But anyway, so Batman's down. He's on the ground. The Penguin has his men keep their fire on Catwoman so she can't move at all. The Penguin starts creeping around, heading toward where Batman's body should be, I guess, to make sure he's dead. He goes over there. He gets to that point. Batman's gone. Then behind him, in some corner somewhere, he hears Batman revving the engine of the Batmobile. So Batman's in the Batmobile now. Once again, how the hell does that happen? If everyone, you got some of his men keeping Catwoman pinned with machine gun fire, okay? Then the rest of the men are looking where Batman is knocked out, especially the Penguin. He's looking where Batman's knocked out, where Batman was. He creeps around to make sure Batman's dead. Batman's gone. You telling me that the Penguin, who was looking at that spot the whole time because he's walking toward it, you telling me this Penguin did not see Batman get his ass up, run to the Batmobile, and get inside? He didn't see that shit. I mean, what the hell? The Batman turned invisible or some shit? He didn't see that. He did not see that. Okay, which begs another question: why the hell is the Batman? Why the hell is the Batmobile there sitting in a motherfucking corner? Well, he just knew that. Oh shit, this guy's gonna run. I'm not gonna be able to catch him off guard. He's gonna run. Cause remember, that was the whole plan, right? They were gonna go in there covertly, right, and take the Penguin down. So why would he need the Batmobile? He never brought it before. He never brought the Batmobile before. And you telling me the one time that they expected to go in there stealthily, he brings his big ass gas guzzling Batmobile? He didn't bring the shit the other times, but he gonna bring it this time. It's like he knew, oh, we're gonna lose track of the Penguin and I'm gonna have to do a car chase. That's why the Batmobile was just sitting there. Because you don't see it pull up. You don't hear it pull up. We get no indication that it has a bat remote like the other bat, like the other Batman, the Batmobile and the other Batman that could run on its own and had automatic kind of, AI driver type thing. You get no indication with this Batmobile. This is the first time we saw the damn thing, right? So where did it come from? You don't see it pull up during the battle. And I think the Penguin would have noticed that shit. Didn't pull up in the battle. Why was it sitting in the corner? Did Batman go there the night before and just place his shit there and say, yeah, I just have a feeling that, I'm about to chase this motherfucker. So, yeah, I'm going to go leave the Batman there so it's there for me. It makes no kind of sense. And it makes you feel like they left something out. Maybe there was some scenes. Maybe there was, something that they cut out. Maybe it was supposed to be that Batman got up, ran, he was getting shot at, and then they show him hitting the remote and the Batmobile coming, or maybe they show him ducking over a wall and the Batmobile was over there. And for time's sake, they cut that out the movie. But it really just shows a lot of problems with this movie. With the timing, the spacing, and everything. The timing of this movie, things that were left out. That looks funny as hell. You telling me he did not notice Batman running to a fucking Batmobile that was somehow sitting in the corner? We never saw him drive up in it. We never saw it come to him. Where the fuck does Batmobile come? And how did it get behind the enemy lines? Another thing. If the Batmobile, if they show the Batmobile being in front of the Penguin, if they show the Batmobile being in front of the Penguin down the street, we could say, okay, maybe that's what happened. He drove up in the Batmobile, he somehow covered it up, then started, went into trees or whatever to do the way they was going to do it stealthily. He ran there after getting shot at, got in the car, and that's what it was. But no, this Batmobile is behind the Penguin. It's behind the Penguin forces. So it's behind the enemy lines. How the hell did it get there? And not only that, if Batman had time to run to the Batmobile, why didn't he take out the men that had Catwoman pinned? Did he just say, oh, fuck her, I want this, Penguin dude, fuck her, and she had to fend for herself? That doesn't make much sense. Seemed like he would have, if he actually survived being knocked on his ass, and obviously he did, it seemed like he would have done something to take out the men that were shooting at Catwoman to get her to safety. It seemed like he would have done something like that to get her to safety. But no, would have believed that this Batman just say, "Hey, fuck you! I'm going. You on your own, woman. I shit. You know." And he just goes get in his car and he sits. He's sitting there revving the engine. Why? Why not just run the motherfucker over? You're behind the penguin in your car. He's in front of you looking for your body, which isn't there no more. Run his ass over. No, Batman's gonna sit there and rev in his car, rev it up so the penguin can see him, and wait for the penguin to get inside the car and then start chasing him. Yeah, bro, go ahead. Yeah, I'm right here in my car revving it up, homie. You know, go ahead. I'm gonna wait for you to get in your car and then we'll do this chase thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna fuck Catwoman. She be on her own, man. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and just rev it. You know, yeah, motherfucker, please. So it's just ridiculous in that thing. It's just like, really, okay, all right. So so then they do the chase. They do the chase, um, and then pretty much I got one more point to cover, and I'm pretty much gonna be done. So at the end of the movie, Batman finds out that oh, one more thing. What happened to the Riddler? The reason why I say is when you look at Riddler in his suit, he looks like some big dude. I mean, just from the shape of his body. Looks like he's a huge dude that just came out of prison, that's been, pumping weights in the yard, like he could just throw motherfuckers like a salad. Just poof. That's how he looks, right? Big, right? Then when you finally catch the Riddler, he's this nerdy ass kid looking dude. Now don't get me wrong, he's overweight, but he doesn't have the muscles. He looks like a, a kid. I'm like, okay, you expect now? I know it. I know they have stunt doubles in these outfits. I know that. Okay, but you expect me to buy that this nerdy ass kid, okay, who looks like he would let SpongeBob beat his ass, is the dude that's just overpowering grown dudes and pounding the hell out of them with a rug upturn or whatever the hell that thing was. Right? You expect me to buy that? I mean, seriously. Dude looked like a fifth grader could whoop his ass. And you expect me to believe that this is the big bulky dude that's been just overpowering dudes and putting so much fear into him and just rah 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 rah. Really? Now, like I said, I know that there's stunt people in these uniforms, but damn, okay, y'all want us to kind of pull from the imagination here, really. Y'all really do. Y'all really do. I mean, shit, y'all really do. Okay, bullshit, right? Okay, so let me finish that. So at the end, a bunch of his followers are sitting in a I would say a sniper position, and sitting on top of like this light thing, and able to kind of pick people up, pop, 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 pop. Batman foils it, of course, beats the shit out of him, saves everybody. But then one of the guys takes off his mask. Batman said, "Who are you?" And the guy said, "I am vengeance." Kind of repeating what Batman said in the earlier film. Well, supposedly this puts Batman in the tailspin where he's just trying to figure out, oh my goodness, am I as bad as these guys? Because I said the same thing. The way I'm doing things is not right, which is stupid as shit. Because if he wouldn't have did things his way, he would have never took out those guys who was sitting on top of that light taking pop shots at people. If he would have said, I don't want to be vengeance, I don't want to do that, then he would have took those dudes out, and those guys would have shot the mayor and shot everybody. It's a stupid ass try to conscience thing that they threw in there, which makes no motherfucking sense. Especially when Batman didn't do anything in this movie that Batman doesn't do. Batman's job is to beat the shit out of criminals. Okay? Not kill them. He never kills them. Well, usually he doesn't. But his thing is to beat the shit out of criminals because cops let them get away. That's him. That's him. That's the way Batman is always. He didn't do anything in this movie that was that is different from his character. Now, if he would have murdered some dude in cold blood, straight up snapped the neck, stabbed him, shanked him, some shit like that, then yeah, you could say, okay, maybe he's having a conflict of interest. Maybe he's having an inner conflict. But he didn't. He didn't do nothing in this movie that he doesn't do and that he doesn't do. So where's this shit come from? It's ridiculous. Okay, last part. So, this being the second video, this is the last part of this video because I got shit to do. I can't be doing this all night. But I did want everyone to know why I felt about this movie. So, when I said that it felt familiar, even though this is the same movie, here's why. Anyone that has played the Arkham Batman video games is going to feel the same way. Now, the Batman Arkham video games, Batman, Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Dark Knight, or the one that was on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Yeah, Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, Batman Origins. That's all considered in the Arkham series, and also Batman Arkham Blackgate, all Arkham series. Now, in those series, those games are pretty long because a large portion of those games is him just figuring out clues. Okay, trying to figure out why this criminal is doing this, how to stop him. Now, there is some fighting, but it's primarily more figuring things out, using gadgets to figure out crimes, to recreate the crimes, solving puzzles, and there's some good fighting, awesome graphics. All those games are awesome. They're awesome games. Definitely try them out if you get a chance. They're awesome games. But anyway, when you look at this movie, that's what this movie is. It's the same thing. Most of the movie is him figuring out stuff, talking to people, trying to figure out the crime. The only thing is he doesn't have any good gadgets to figure it out like he does in the video games. He's just pretty much, and figuring stuff out. And there's some couple fight scenes just to wake you up, just so you're not snoring too loud in the theater. They throw in a couple fight scenes in there. But pretty much that's it. It's just him just figuring stuff out. Just like the Arkham Asylum games, just like Arkham games. And even the fighting is exactly like the Arkham Batman games. In the Arkham Batman video games, he always fights multiple opponents who all attack him at once. And in the video games, you're punching, right? You're fighting one guy. And when another guy's about to hit you from the side or the back, you hit a button on the controller and you counter, take that dude out, and then you fight the next guy. And it's really a punch, counter, punch, counter, punch, counter, because he's fighting these huge amounts of people. In the Batman Arkham video games, in those games he hardly ever fights less than 3 people. In those games, if you look at this movie, it's exactly the same thing. He's always fighting multiple people. It's very rare that he's fighting 1 or 2. It's always multiple people that attack him all at once, just like the Arkham video games. And why that's great in the video games, it's not good in the movie. Because a video game, if it's 10 hours long or 12 hours long, you know it's a video game. You're not expecting to beat that game that same night. You know you're going to play a couple hours, come back later, the next day, play a couple more hours. You're going to do these things. But in a movie, you want that to be resolved. You want the criminal to be found, the case to be resolved, and you want action the whole time throughout the movie. Because you paid for this damn movie. Shit ain't cheap. Right? And you're not going to come back to that movie and pay to see the shit again because you're going to see the same shit. Unlike a video game where I can play level 1 and level 2, come back tomorrow and finish level 3 and level 4, come back the next day and do level 5 and 6. A movie isn't like that. It doesn't have continuing levels. So it doesn't match. It doesn't work. That's why this movie is not good. Because it looks like what they tried to do, hey, everyone loved the Batman Arkham video games. Everybody loves them. So let's go ahead and make a movie adaptation of that. Make it just like that. This whole he spends 85% of the movie figuring shit out and just trying to figure out, mysteries. And then, just to keep him excited, we'll go ahead and throw in to wake him up because they're falling asleep in the theater. Let's go ahead and wake him up and throw in some fight scenes. And we'll make them like the Arkham video games. So they'll be like, oh, they feel like even the Batman character himself looks a lot like the Arkham Batman, all bulked up and everything else. I mean, he looks like that. So that's why I'm saying this movie is supposed to be new, but I swear I felt like I was watching a video. I felt like I was watching one of the Batman Arkham video games being played. That's what I felt like. I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Yeah. So my final verdict on this movie is this: it's a good movie, but it is probably, with the exception of the Adam West Batman, and with the exception of Batman and Robin, this movie is probably one of the worst. The reason why I say that is because I like the first Batman with Michael Keaton better than this one. I like the second Batman with Michael Keaton better than this one. I like the one Batman Forever with Val Kilmer better than this one. I like all three of the Nolan Batmans better than this one. The only Batman movies that this movie tops over, in my opinion, is of course the Batman and Robin, and the Batman from the '60s, the Adam West Batman. Still an enjoyable Batman. Still something to keep you busy. Just make sure you know have a lot of caffeine in your sodas because you're gonna fall asleep on it. And just realize it is not a good movie. It's entertaining. And when I say it's a good movie, what I just mean is that actually it's not a good movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried to add some value to this movie. I tried to do, but it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie at all. And I know the internet's gonna hate me, but I don't give a damn. So this review is almost an hour long. So I hope I don't make you fall asleep. I hope I don't make you fall asleep like the movie will. But yeah. So out of 10, I'll give it. I give it a. Well, I give it a 4. I give it a 4 because it did look good. Batman looked good. He looked good. The outfit looked good. Um, and that's about it. Gotham was a little bit too depressing, too rainy. I would suggest to anyone, if you have depression issues, do not watch this movie. It would depress the hell out of you. And this is supposed to be a superhero movie. It will depress the shit out of you. So if you have depression problems, do not watch this movie. Your ass will be crying in the bathroom. I'm telling you. It's just depressing. This is your man, Geo Panther out.